Help Tzu Chi volunteers in China organized the largest winter relief distribution yet in Suqian, Jiangsu Province. We take a look at the problems faced by the traditional Chinese medicine industry in Taiwan. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. On January 25th, the Tzu Chi Foundation conducted its largest distribution yet in Suqian, Jiangsu Province, where 966 volunteers from eastern China and a team from Taiwan served over 23,000 impoverished residents in 21 townships in Suqian County.
Early in the morning, a large crowd gathers outside Suqian's Xiaofei Vocational High School. Tzu Chi volunteers arrive shortly after to begin the winter distribution. Excited at what the day holds, many residents also arrived bright and early.
多少钱？
坐多久？
半小时。
下雨，骑20分钟。
20分钟就到了。
到。
I got rice, cooking oil, a comforter, and clothes.
Across 6 centralized distribution points, 1,180 households, or a total of 23,238 people, are receiving Tzu Chi's aid. On behalf of the tens and thousands of Suqian residents, I would like to express my sincerest welcome, appreciation, and thanks to Tzu Chi.
岁末年初，即将要过年了。
Chinese New Year is just around the corner, and Master Zheng Yan hopes that the residents of Suqian County will have a very blessed and warm New Year this winter. We have brought love on behalf of Tzu Chi volunteers worldwide to you all.
把这种爱心带这边。
好，辛苦了，拿好哦，好。
Volunteers distributed daily necessities and food to help keep residents warm through the cold winter nights. While the distribution was in progress, the rain stopped and was replaced with clear skies.
Last night, we heard that it would be raining today, and our entire team was praying for a successful distribution. We are truly grateful that our prayers have been heard by the heavens.
I received a comforter, a jacket, rice, and oil. Thank you so much.
够您过年吗？够，开心吗？开心啊，好。
In the afternoon, while volunteers were cleaning up the distribution venue, a senior resident returned with 100 homemade sticky rice dumplings.
I want to thank all of you for all the kind assistance you have given us. We greatly appreciate it. I plan to bring you more on Dragon Boat Festival next year.
你的心意我们接受了，感恩你了。
对，棉被、棉袄，还有大米回去过年，好吧？
Going back and forth carrying aid supplies in his hands, DaAi TV CEO Tang Jianming is giving it his all.
这个棉被。
The observational skills that come with being a media professional were also put to use.
While moving the rice, some grains fell out of the bag. So at the end of the distribution, I collected the rice grains that had fallen onto the floor, as every single grain is the fruit of hard work. Although others may not have noticed, I saw them and quickly ran over to pick them up one by one.
With more than a decade of experience in radio broadcasting, DaAi TV Broadcasting Division Manager Tzu Yun is conveying her well wishes this time not through the microphone, but personally.
都看成是自己的父母。
They're just like our parents. No matter where we are in the country, we always receive such a warm reception from these residents.
感觉上都是一样的。
While staff members of the Tzu Chi Humanitarian Center are putting their skills to good use, ICU head nurse of Darling Tzu Chi Hospital, Ling Mei Ling, is also among those serving on the front lines.
I am actually quite happy. I work in the ICU, and it's a very fast-paced environment. So whatever volunteers needed, as long as I knew where it was, I was able to assist them very quickly. It was very intense, but very exciting at the same time. And I also found much fulfillment through this experience.
When people are suffering and you reach out to help them, they in turn will help others in need. This compassion is a continuous cycle.
Whether it is taking the lead or working behind the scenes, DaAi TV and Tzu Chi Hospital staff have all discovered the benefits and rewards of helping others.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Malaysia continue their campaign to canvass for donations to help the flood survivors on the east coast of the Malaysian peninsula. Meanwhile, a year-end blessing ceremony held in Perak saw the participation of over 2,000 residents.
Here in Perak, Malaysia, Tzu Chis began the Tzu Chi year-end blessing ceremony with a solemn procession.
Holding the incense burner is an honorable task. It is a symbol of respect towards the Buddha. We need to have an open mind and learn from the Buddha's teachings.
很学习的心态去向每个菩萨去学习这样子。
2014 was filled with disasters and tragedies from Malaysians. Thinking back on the past year, residents reflect deeply.
It was hard to see so much devastation, but at the end, the survivors seem to have gotten through that time. We are very glad that we could offer a helping hand.
可是他们的心还是很平静的能够度过，然后我们也能够帮助到他，真的很开心。
After seeing so many natural disasters in different countries, I've come to realize how impermanent life is and how important it is to seize each moment and live it to the fullest, just like Master Zheng Yan says to do.
Not only is the ceremony itself dignified, the venue was also decorated with care. To promote vegetarianism, volunteers transformed Tzu Chi's instant rice into edible works of art.
It's very beautiful. The food is not only nutritious and healthy, but there's also an artistic element to it.
Before participants leave for the day, volunteers ask each to donate to those in need.
It's wonderful when different religions come together to build a better tomorrow on behalf of the world's citizens.
一起来共同为我们这个社会塑造更美好的明天。
Also looking to build a better and more peaceful 2015 is this group of students in Kuala Lumpur. Students from the DaAi Educare Center have memorized some Malay to help them spread the word of their cause. Seeing the students' efforts, parents are moved as well.
Normally, when we see people asking for donations, we turn away. But because it's Tzu Chi, I find people are happy to contribute.
Also happy to help the flood survivors is Wu Yile, a student at the Tzu Chi Butterworth Kindergarten. Following suit, Wu Yile's classmates also brought their coin banks to donate. Meanwhile, Tzu Chi volunteers of Kota Tinggi head into a market to seek donations for flood survivors. Lending a hand to help is an employee who makes an announcement over the PA system.
Yang mana pada malam ini kita bersama dengan Yayasan Tzu Chi Malaysia. Sekarang ini mereka berada di Kimat Kota Tinggi untuk menjayakan program pengutipan derma.
Jadi I will do my best to help Tzu Chi so they can help those who are suffering from this disaster.
The manager of the markets also welcomed the volunteers with open arms.
Kota Tinggi also suffered from a flood in the past, so I know what it's like to lose everything. Donating to Tzu Chi is a great way to help those in need.
Opening up their hearts as well as their wallets, everyone is united in a common goal to help the less fortunate.
Next, we bring you the story of Liao Kunyong. Liao spent 20 years in and out of prison as a result of his addiction to drugs. Released from prison 5 years ago, everyone assumed that he would return to his life of drugs and crime. However, something happened along the way that changed his life forever.
Wearing his Tzu Chi uniform is Tzu Chi volunteer Liao Kunyong, who takes a moment to think back on his life.
I left them with so much pain. All the terrible things I did destroyed the happy family I had.
Liao began experimenting with drugs when he was still in high school. Over the next 20 years, he would be jailed 6 times for drug abuse. To pay for his habit, he stole, lied, and cheated. In the end, abandoned by society and his family, there was one, however, who still believed in him.
At the time, I felt like his mother. All I wanted to do was find a way to get him out of his situation.
Sister Lin brought me hope and encouragement. Without her, I certainly would have fallen back to my old ways.
The fact that he has been able to end his addiction is already so much. Improvement in other areas will come slowly in time.
For the past 5 years, Liao has worked as recycling or kitchen volunteer at the Dongda recycling station. And slowly, family and friends have seen the changes in him.
We are so relieved.
Now volunteer Liao is firmly committed to Tzu Chi and learning how to better serve those around him.
Wearing this uniform, we need to take responsibility for ourselves and our actions. That is the most important thing.
Chinese medicine, and especially Chinese herbs, play a very big part of Chinese people's lives everywhere. Unfortunately, most of the ingredients are only found in China, and as the country's domestic demand for these ingredients increases, it is becoming more difficult for people outside of China to gain access to them. Just what can the industry in Taiwan do about this problem? We find out in our new series.
Chinese medicine isn't just something written in ancient texts. In fact, there are many traditional Chinese medicine clinics in Taiwan. Many people also rely on Chinese medicine to maintain their health. But just where do all the ingredients come from? All of the ingredients have medicinal properties and can also be used for cooking.
就是冬天到了嘛，就补身嘛，调气嘛。这个就是做佛跳墙啊，
做给家人吃的。
对啊。
我们来到迪化街，这里是现场。
Taipei's Dihua Street is Taiwan's Chinese medicine wholesale center. Most retailers and even consumers come here to get their ingredients, which are predominantly imported.
药材的原产地。
可能是大陆来，大陆才有啊，都洗几遍呢。
印尼来的还是什么？还有信用，我们都长期来买的。
现在都大陆了。
All of them come from China because we just don't have them here. You just have to go with your gut feeling when choosing where to shop.
Taiwan imports some 3 to 3.5 billion NT dollars worth of Chinese medicine a year, and most Taiwanese can only hope that they buy from a reputable retailer.
90% of Chinese medicine in Taiwan is imported, of which China supplies 80% of that. Besides China, we have ginseng from the US and Canada, and cinnamon from Vietnam.
Though Chinese medicine includes minerals and animals, it mostly uses plants, which are often region-specific due to climate and environment. Some people even claim that only herbs that come from a specific region will be potent enough, which is why the industry is quite complicated.
China has the monopoly on all Chinese medicine, as that's where most of the ingredients can be found. So the two sides must establish fair trade practices to protect Taiwan's importers.
Ever since China's economy took off, domestic demand for Chinese medicine has increased steadily. The first thing to be affected was the price of ingredients.
The price of ingredients has skyrocketed because China has a monopoly. The world's demand for Chinese herbs has been increasing as well, which has pushed prices up. Our cost now is much higher than a decade ago. As more large-scale TCM pharmaceuticals are formed in China, medium-sized companies in Taiwan can no longer access the ingredients they need easily. Also, the quality of ingredients has been adversely affected with the dimming of Taiwan's economic status.
Back in the 90s, we could get the best ingredients from Hong Kong. Later, we could even cut out the middlemen and buy directly. But everything has changed now. Since we are no longer the primary market for Chinese medicine, we get shipped subpar products. This is the situation that we have to deal with.
Due to the increase in price and currency exchange rates, consumers in Taiwan are now shying away from Chinese medicine-related products, further limiting importers' ability to get good quality ingredients. As a result, cheap, synthetic TCM-flavored food is now surfacing.
Suppliers outside of China, because of the increasing market in China, will also be less willing to work with our importers, as we just can't compete in terms of price. If TCM doctors cannot get quality ingredients, then they won't be able to establish a good reputation. In the long run, this will be detrimental to the development of the industry.
Just what can those working in the industry do in the face of global competition? And how can the government provide assistance? Unfortunately, the same problem can be found in many of the industries here in Taiwan.
In Binh Duong Province, Vietnam, Tzu Chi volunteers recently organized a year-end blessing ceremony at the office of the local Taiwanese Businessmen Association. In total, the event saw nearly 400 participants. Meanwhile, at a year-end event held at the Pha Pon Nunnery School in Myanmar, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived with love and much-needed medicine. The Pha Pon Nunnery School is located a 2.5 hours drive from the Tzu Chi Myanmar Liaison Office in Yangon. The school not only provides orphans or children from low-income families with food, but also a chance at an education.
Children here need love. They really need the Tzu Chi volunteers' love and care. It will be even better if the volunteers can organize a free clinic on a monthly basis.
Following a stationary distribution 5 years ago, the abbess of the nunnery decided to adopt Tzu Chi's bamboo coin bank to support the organization's international relief missions. In the wake of the recent flood in Malaysia, everyone in the nunnery donated their love. The year-end blessing ceremony organized by the Tzu Chi volunteers is greatly appreciated by everyone in the nunnery. Seeing that many children suffer from skin problems, Tzu Chi volunteers offered some medication. The volunteers also promised to visit again very soon. Meanwhile, in Binh Duong Province, Vietnam, members of the public happily received the blessing and wisdom red envelopes from the Tzu Chi volunteers.
I haven't opened the blessing and wisdom red envelope. I want to open it at home because I believe it will bring me good luck. I want to help even more people and hope 2015 can be a year full of happiness.
Tzu Chi's year-end blessing ceremony was held at the office of the local Taiwanese Businessmen Association and was filled with joy and warmth.
When we first came to Vietnam, I still remember Tzu Chi's year-end blessing ceremony wasn't that popular. Now the event is not only joined by Taiwanese businessmen and members of the local Chinese community, but also the locals. I'm extremely touched to see these changes.
Many participants take the chance to learn more about the Buddhist NGO, while some even signed up as volunteers.
In the future, Taiwanese businessmen, including members of our office, will try our very best to give back to the local community by helping needy residents and impoverished students.
At the end of the event, many donated their love as they know their money will be put to good use. In Hualien County, Taiwan, the Tzu Chi Senior High School affiliated with Tzu Chi University organized a year-end blessing ceremony which saw altogether 1,700 participants. During the ceremony, students of the kindergarten, elementary, and high school divisions put on different musical adaptations, expressed their determination to change for the better. Expressing their thanks to parents and educators through a sign language performance are students of the kindergarten division of Tzu Chi Senior High School affiliated with Tzu Chi University.
Our parents have taken good care of us since we were still babies, so when they grow old, we need to take good care of them too.
Upon seeing a clip of Tzu Chi's efforts in carrying out relief missions across the globe in 2014, many children expressed their amazement. During the year-end blessing ceremony, students of the elementary division put on a musical adaptation of the Sutra of Innumerable Meanings. Furthermore, many also vowed to study hard and learn from the Tzu Chi volunteers.
I hope to do even more good deeds. I want to become a good person so everyone will like me.
Meanwhile, students of the senior high division put on the musical adaptation of the 37 practices of Bodhisattvas.
Although we had to spend a lot of time and effort to practice for the musical, we still feel extremely blessed.
At the end of the event, students received blessing and wisdom red envelopes from Dharma masters of the Jiangsu abode. Everyone also seized the opportunity to pray for a world of peace and one free from disasters. Next, we meet 60-year-old Tzu Chi volunteer Han Xiufeng. 9 years ago, Han's husband was left paralyzed following a stroke. Since Han had to take care of her sick husband and her grandchildren at the same time, she barely had time to work to provide for her family. Thankfully, Tzu Chi volunteers walked into her life. To reciprocate the volunteers' kindness, Han started practicing recycling and eventually became a Tzu Chi volunteer. Whether it is practicing recycling, cooking meals, or being an onstage volunteer, Tzu Chi volunteer Han Xiufeng devotes herself wholeheartedly to the task at hand. Han says Tzu Chi has helped her walk out of the shadows of despair. 9 years ago, Han's husband was paralyzed following a stroke. Without the strength to juggle between work and family, Han could barely put food on the table. Thankfully, Tzu Chi volunteers reached out with a helping hand.
I shed tears because I was extremely moved. It was as if I had won a lottery.
Touched by the volunteers' kindness and humble gestures, Han Xiufeng began to repent for her bad temper.
My grandma used to spank me with a swatter or a scratching stick when I didn't do well on my homework.
After meeting Tzu Chi, Han Xiufeng's life has slowly changed for the better.
Getting mad is like going insane. I don't want to be insane all the time.
Every year during Chinese New Year, Han always brings her grandchildren to the recycling station to help us sort recyclables. Sometimes she even brings her son-in-law to help as well.
Although Han Xiufeng's husband passed away 2 years ago, with Tzu Chi volunteers and her family by her side, Han has rediscovered the beauty of life. To celebrate the start of a new year, Taipei City's Weishan District Office organized a carnival for seniors at the Taipei Zoo on January 23rd. Taxi drivers provided their services free of charge, and a group of hairdressers also provided seniors with free haircuts.
Taipei City's Weishan District Office organized a carnival for seniors at the city's local zoo. 60 taxi drivers offered their services to and from the venue free of charge.
We are offering our services for free. They can take a walk around and we will wait till noon and then drop them back home.
While a group of young hairdressers provided the seniors with free haircuts.
When I see the smiles on the grandmas and grandpas' faces after I've given them a haircut, I'm happy to know that what I'm doing is meaningful.
This was an annual event not to be missed by Tzu Chi volunteers, who were also on site to promote environmental protection and recycling.
We go to San Jose, California at the end of the show, where the local Tzu Chi Academy organized a game day on campus. Thanks to the event, many children and parents had the time to strengthen their relationships. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.